No, I think we should both just stare at everybody.
Oh, we should. Okay. Be awkward. Last week we messed up the beginning, so we'll just stare.
Jeez, people turning this off right now everywhere. Hey, it is Thrive. I'm Rob Patz. That is Jason Webb, and he's going to do the official open, but I like to kind of do that part just because it's the only time I talk.
No problem, Rob. It's always great to be on live with you. It's our third show here now. We have Thrive with Rob and Jason, where we talk about life, God, business, health, which we're going to get into some stuff today with our guests, which I can't wait to talk about. But let's start with some sports here. What are your thoughts here on the Final Four in men's basketball, and then also the big talk of college basketball right now is Caitlin Clark. Incredible, right?
Caitlin Clark is awesome. She is Steph Curry right now. She could beat Steph Curry. That I'm gonna get heat for that, but I'm thinking in like a shootout, I think she could beat him. She's like running that mojo. Both of us played sports, so we know that kind of, you get that feeling where you just know you're like in that zone. I think she's kind of in that zone.
Oh yeah, she's incredible. She beat Pistol Pete's scoring record on collegiate story that was over 50 years old. That's incredible for her career. And then she also set new records for points in a season. Incredible. But on the men's basketball front, what do you got with that? I still got my team in there, UConn, but I don't know if they can pull it off.
No, I got nobody left. So now I've become the fan of the underdog. I am seriously a fan of the Wolfpack. I am like super excited about their chances. They don't have a chance to win. Because have you watched Connecticut play? I know you've got Connecticut, because Jason wants to brag about the fact that he won at the end of the end of this March Madness thing. But did you see just Connecticut just demolish teams? It hasn't even been funny.
That's in terms of that. But when you look at the Wolfpack, you look at Purdue, they got two really points. They scored 40 points in that. That's really cool. But
yeah, it is. It's exciting. We're excited about a lot of stuff, but today Jason's going to introduce our guests for today, and we're going to get rolling on some good stuff here on Thrive.
It's a couple that Rob just talked about. Rob Sport actually today is that's where I met him, where we started about 20 pretty double gentleman. He's been a pillar of helping him, but his brewing that's coming. You on there, Jessica?
Hey, Jason, I think you froze. I think he's gone. He is. He's completely gone. Now he's back. There's Jason. Hello, Jason.
Yes, I'm back. So tell us about what you got going on, and we also have your partner on here as well, Daryl. And Daryl is an incredible individual, and I want to hear some details about Daryl's past and this. Let's get you rolling. Let's start.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Jason and Rob, for having us. We are super pumped to be here today, and just want to start out by a verse that's just been powerful in the last couple of years, and it's Ephesians 3:20. To him that can do more than anything we can ask, think, or imagine through his power. And this is just unfolding a lot in terms of what's been happening recently with things in my life, but also Kingdom Health, which we're going to talk more about today. And I think Kingdom Health was really just an idea, I would say even less than a year ago. But God had been planning these things, and God had been planning people about this additional gift that he wants to give all believers, which is healing, how he designed our bodies in terms of what is shared in the kingdom. And in the kingdom, healing is normal. It's completely normal. This is how things happen in the kingdom. And it's bringing those elements to here on earth so that as we are become believers of Christ, that we can start that full abundant life here on earth. And then, of course, once we get to heaven, it becomes infinitely better because of all the great things that he has in store for us. But it's just been super powerful in these last 6 months of how God has moved, about how we can bring this gift of healing in terms of the spirit, mind, and body level. And just super excited again here to be discussing this with you today, Jason.
Yeah, we're really, and the journey that I've seen you on in the past, 25 years, we reconnected in the last few years. The health journey has been incredible. It's transformed me in my journey and my health walk. I'm a fairly large guy. I'm like, but of mind, spirit, and body, and putting those chords together, really thing that you can tell me about your background. Place in that.
Well, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I have, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I have a long storied background in various fields that my journey, funny enough, was I didn't really realize all of the experience and wisdom God was giving me through all my experience. And so I had this tendency to kind of, compartmentalize things from my past. And it's only been the last few years that I realized just, every single experience I've had, I was a clinically certified podorthist. So I work with feet and orthotics and braces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stopped doing that, I just sort of compartmentalized, like, well, that's that. And I'm going to go do something new. And it seems really foolish to say out loud, but a lot of, I work with tens of thousands of patients and learned a lot about how people deal with challenge and approach change and where those fears come from and why they'll actually kind of pull themselves back into negative behaviors. And just being able to draw that into this experience, it's interesting enough, just the chats that Jess and I have had over the years. I can actually remember where I was sitting in church listening to our pastor, and the way he was explaining something, and I was like, man, if you just changed the context a little bit, what he said totally works. And at that time, it was Jess's company that he works for, and I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
Jess could say that line completely. That's amazing how powerful it was. And I started sharing that with him, and that was those kinds of insights were where we started picking up the idea that, hey, there isn't just one part of us. There's three parts of us.
Mm-hmm.
And what's true for one, it's like God wants to work with all of us, not just some of us.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fun journey working through this, and as this idea has come forward.
And so, mind, spirit, and body. I know the body is where you really hone skills. Tell me about your history, that you're in the body, and what that's transformed in the last 6 you've worked with another company.
Yeah, no, and thanks for that. It's a great question, and I think I'm going to ask people that are watching this live or whoever watches the replay, who has been on a health journey in their life. And I'm going to be pretty certain that, a lot of us are going to raise that hand. Yeah, we want to lose a little weight, or, hey, we have that extra pain in our knees, or it might be something even more serious than that. But this is just becoming the norm today, that as we get older, we should just be used to, gaining more weight every year. We should feel more exhausted mentally and physically. And then we get to look forward to possibly a future full of medications and doctor visits. This is the normal future that we are looking towards. When I started to ask myself questions after college, like, there's got to be a better way. I'm an athlete. I know how to do this. There's got to be a better way as I get older to stay healthy. But no matter what I tried, following normal health convention, you name it. It was a diet, it was a supplement, it was a shake, it was any other exercise routine. I mean, whatever I tried, I would still gain weight every year. I would, feel more fatigued. And I started to get pain in my knees and my lower back. And when I went to see the doctor, he says, well, you're just getting older. That's what I was told. And this really frustrated me because, again, I was an athlete growing up. I was fit, but whatever I was trying, nothing ever worked. And this was a 10-year search of multiple failure after failure of, again, diets, shakes, exercise programs. And, after that decade, I was, 28 pounds heavier than I was in high school. I had serious pain in my knees, my lower back, and I was exhausted. And I remember this moment when I was laying on the floor with my firstborn son, and it was maybe a couple months, and he's just kind of crawling around, and I'm just trying to lay on the ground and play with him. And I was tired. And I remember asking myself, how am I going to keep up with him when he grows older? And then that's when I said, look, conventional wisdom here in terms of health, I have to rethink this. And there was a chance meeting with my business partner, who's a cellular biologist, who studied the body for over 18 years.
Wow.
And understand how the body works with food and the natural processes so that the body can do all the amazing things that God has designed it to. And what ended up happening after following his guidance was a miracle, because within 40 days, I was able to lose 28 pounds, or I should say my body was able to release 28 pounds. I was able to tap into energy that I hadn't felt since high school, both mental clarity, but also physical energy. And then also taking a look at that pain in my knees and my lower back. I mean, it was just gone. And it was counter to everything that I'd ever known about, food or exercise or any of these different elements. When I exercised less, I ate more food, and I just ate them in a different balance. And by giving the body what it needed, the body was able to do all these inherent things that are already a part of its design. And, after that transformation, I told my business partner, like, how can I be a part of this? Because if I struggled for 10 years, there's other people that have struggled for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's people in the middle of that struggle now today, or people just thinking like, well, this is just my future. There is no other hope. And that was 6 years ago now. And we've been able to help hundreds of other people, heal multiple conditions like type 2 diabetes, Crohn's disease, autoimmune diseases, and of course have helped hundreds of people lose hundreds of pounds through that process. But more importantly, through all of these health benefits, it's the new perspective on where their life can go. The saying goes, a sick man has one wish, a healthy person has thousands. And if we're sick, or if we are not in good health, we become very focused on, well, I need to fix this, or how do I manage this? And that dominates so much of our mental bandwidth every day. When what would happen if we had more energy, more clarity of thought, more vitality in our bodies to go out, in our relationships, in our business, in our communities. And it really changes that perspective. And again, for me, that transformation said, man, I want to help people do this. And that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. And I think it was God. I look back at that now, and that was a God thing, because he knew, like, all right, I'm starting you on this path. You're not going to know it yet. And then now this will lead up to Kingdom Health. But I just want to say that the body is incredible, and how God designed it. There was no fluke. And it's just incredible the more I learn about the body and how we've guided hundreds of people to really tap into this power that, man, God.
Well, just
wow.
one thing that really stuck out me, Jess, is when we reconnected a couple of years ago, and you were through this process. A number you said there was like 1,700 people that you guys have helped through this process for like case studies and showing how this worked, and there was like a 90% success rate, right?
Yeah. No, my partner's been doing this for over 18 years now. I've been a part of this journey for the last 6 years. And prior to me coming on board, he had helped already thousands of clients do this very thing, tap into the body. And again, by someone following the simple guidance in terms of giving the body the nutrition that it needs, nothing complicated either. I'm going to be fully transparent. You can buy everything at a local grocery store, wherever you are in the world, and give your body what it needs. And he was able to help thousands of people. In the last 6 years, I've been able to help guide hundreds of people by learning the framework as well. And again, by following these simple guidelines to work with your body and just give it what it needs in terms of nutrition, man, it is incredible what the body can do in terms of all the health benefits that we're looking for today.
Jess, I love what you said there, Jess, about when your body is right, your mind becomes clearer. I know that when I'm in better shape, I don't have to feel as I don't feel as stressed. I don't feel like my gut doesn't hurt. I don't feel like I'm living. So when you were going through this process and you talked about being on the floor and then going through each step of this, did you notice that like your clarity of thought became better as you got healthier?
Oh, 100%. There's a direct proportion to this. And I think just sharing the power of the body is that energy, both mental and physical, can come back in a matter of days. And we're not conditioned to believe this at all today. It's like, oh, it's going to take years. It's got to be complex. When actually, by giving the nutrition that our body needs, then this is how energy works in the body, because it lives in every cell of our body. And by giving the nutrition it needs, there's a natural cycle that energy explodes when we need it and then recharges back and then explodes when we need it. There's a process that God designed in every one of our cells. And for the nerdy people, it's a Krebs cycle. This cycle produces constant energy. And as an adult, we have 30 trillion cells in our body. 30 trillion. 30 trillion energy-making machines inside of our body. And this works both for mental and physical energy. And when we get healthier and we give the body what it needs, and the cells play such an important part in this process because they control so many of the systems in our body, then the clarity, oh my goodness, it's like that moment for me when in the afternoon, I'd always crash around 2 p.m. And I know for other people, it might be 3 p.m. or whatever. It's like, oh, I hit that wall. But you have energy throughout the morning, and then you go through that 2 p.m. slump, whatever that slump is. And then you keep going until you go to bed and you're like, wow, I could still go, but I'm going to lay down and have great sleep, because energy is also tied to sleep. And that's what you said, Rob. It's like, oh, when I feel healthier, like I have more energy, but also you're probably going to get better sleep as part of that process. So it's all interconnected in terms of how the body works. But yeah, energy is the basis of so much of what we want to do in life and how we want to feel. So, but again, the amazing part of the body is that this can come back in a matter of days if we start giving our body the nutrition that it needs.
And that's amazing. And being a little bit of part of this journey myself, seeing that transition to now with Daryl in the fold on King and next to the fold, which is just one of the 3 strands, right? So Daryl, like, how does, you're an expert with the client journey, and how did that really start and unfold?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're talking about the three strands, and the mind is as big a part of this, because we aren't just a body. Like we have a mind, we have will, we have thoughts, emotions, we have a soul. And then we're also a spirit. We've been designed to exist outside of this existence, right? And the mind ultimately is the biggest driver, because we do choose, and we either choose through direct choice or through indirect choice. So if we're on the floor and can barely get up and can't play with our newborn, we're making just automatic decisions to prioritize energy, and that becomes your sole focus. My whole time working like kind of in the clinical space, what I would hear constantly was people would be like, "Oh, I never realized I missed walking until now I can't do it."
Yeah.
And so we have this amazing ability to kind of zone out and miss things and be focused on something else. And it isn't until it's gone that all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I missed the simple joy of walking.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mind really is this battlefield. It is this thing that we have to really engage in very specifically, so that it's actually present and we're actually able to make good choices for our body. Because a poor mind, a clouded mind, isn't capable of making those choices. Like Jess said, the nutrition isn't difficult. We're actually wired to think it's more complicated, because that's the history of the human experience. Look all the way back through the Bible, and God's just like, no, just believe in me. It's pretty simple. Love me,
Yeah, right.
love people. Like, that's all you need to do. It's actually pretty simple. And we're like, no, it's got to be more complicated than that, right? And so you probably heard it said that the wallet is one of the last places that's saved. And what we're seeing kind of when we're looking at Kingdom Health is, I'm wondering if it's the plate that's actually the last thing that's saved. It's the last thing that we kind of refuse to surrender control to, because we don't, we want to maintain some level of individuality. Or if you actually look back at kind of the original sin, I mean, it's the first on ramp that the devil used to get to pull us away from God. And just thinking that what we do with food isn't in the domain of God, or doesn't have consequences. And so we really, a lot of my experience has been focused on, well, how do we engage the mind of someone who actually wants to bring themselves more back online with God, regardless of wherever they are leading. They're leading in the home, if they're leading in their work, if they're leading in church, in a small group, whatever that is. If they are distracted and their mind is clouded and they don't have energy, they're only going to lead to the limit of that capacity. And God wants to elevate our capacity. We're built in His image, so we have a much higher ceiling than we give ourselves credit for. Like, the enemy's greatest trick is dropping that ceiling down and making us think that that's all that there is. Yeah.
As you guys see the QR code on the screen there, that's for the website. You can check out some information. Get out even more. Explain to either one of you about how the processes work, because it's just been some testing phases to see how this works and building this out. Now you're getting ready to get into an actual beta phase where you can start bringing more. Check that out for QR.
Yeah, we just ran through our 8-week process with the initial group, which is amazing. There's some amazing insights that people had. And what we were really focusing on is uniting all aspects of our being into one goal, which is to draw closer to God. And the byproduct of that is clarity of mind and healing in the body. And so that's been awesome. It was so much fun to do that, to take this thing that was conversations Jess and I were having, and then revelations that God was giving us, and it turning into this thing that is far larger than we originally were talking about, and to actually like sit down with people and share it and have them, make change in their life. Having like these amazing spiritual epiphanies, or having control of food, not letting food own them, was amazing. So yeah, we're just prepping to get ready to launch a beta here, probably towards the end of April. And bringing more people into this and sharing this good news with the world.
That's incredible. It's not just a diet. It's a lifestyle change in terms of the 3 chords, just like the Trinity, right?
100%.
Yeah, it's freedom.
That's the incredible piece. And I got to be a part of the Alpha program when we first launched this, so I really appreciate you guys bringing that in the fold. And so I got to see what this transformational process is. And so now, again, if people want to check out some more, they can jump on that QR code, put their information in there to get some more things as this starts to grow even further, to see how you can be a part of Kingdom Health and be a part of what's being built. So Jess, I know at one point you did talk about, being all over the world. This is a really cool thing that we have with technology now, where we have everybody here. Just to let everybody know, we're all over the world. I'm in Colorado. Rob's in Ohio. Jess, where are you at these days, man? Because you're all over the place. And Daryl's in Canada.
I'm actually traveling right now. I actually live in Delhi, India, but currently I am in Vietnam for this week, just to visit some friends. So, again, technology is pretty incredible today that we can be having a conversation literally all across the world right now.
yeah, live. So Rob, what are your thoughts on this Kingdom Health deal?
I love this, and it's something that my wife and I started the first of the year to really be more mindful of what we're putting in our body. And I will tell you that since we started the first of the year, the clarity level for us has been incredible. We get a lot accomplished, more than we did before. And so I think this is something incredible. And I love their heart for what they're doing. Had a chance to look over their website, and this is exciting stuff. And we as entrepreneurs spend so much time investing in our business that we forget to invest in ourselves.
Agreed. Us being our show called Thrive, this is why we wanted you guys to be one of our first guests on here, because this is a huge part of thriving, is our bodies and how we can intertwine all pieces of what God has built us to be, mind, spirit, and body, to thrive. Have that energy to fulfill everything that he wants us to feel. So let me ask you guys, who would really be interested? Check this out, that you want to bring into this fold.
Yeah. So Kingdom Health experience is going to be great for someone that is leading in their life. And leading could be, like Daryl said, it could be in the home, it could be in a small group, it could be in a business, it could be in a community. These are people that are already taking on commitments where they're serving others. And if they want to increase their capacity to lead, so increase their capacity to lead, so more energy, more vitality, but also grow spiritually and focus on God through this process, then this is a great program where they are going to get elements at those three levels where they are going to grow closer to God. They're going to heal their bodies and focus on his word through the process, so that they're growing in these three levels, so that they can increase their capacity to lead in their lives. And again, it could be many different forms of how that can look. But I think people can resonate with, oh yeah, I'm a mom leading a household and I want to have more energy, but also grow closer to God through the process. Hey, I'm a CEO of a business and I want to, lead my my coworkers and employees to the next stage of our growth. And it could be for anyone in that range. But again, it really goes back to, hey, do you want to increase your capacity to lead and to grow at the spirit, mind, and body simultaneously, so you can step further into your process? Then this would be a great person to come in the Kingdom Health experience.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jesse. Yeah, check that QR code there below, and you can definitely jump on there, learn more about it. Reach out to Jess, to Daryl. Put your information in there, and as they start to build Kingdom Health here even more, you can be a part of that. And they would love for you to check that out, so you can step bigger into your purpose. Rob, anything you want to kind of bring things together and condense this together and finish things up with?
Hey guys, I appreciate you being on our show. Website is right there. Just go to the QR code right down there and check them out. And we're so excited. We just encourage you. And this is another way that you can go out and thrive.
Yes.